There's a sensation you cannot quite put into words, a moment when gravity loses its grip and the vastness of space envelopes you. At first, it's almost surreal, like you're floating between two worlds, the familiar, comforting world of Earth and the unimaginable, uncharted expanse of space. As the engines roar and the spacecraft surges upward, you feel the weight of your body, a constant reminder of the force that binds you to Earth. But when the engines quiet, when the last echo of atmosphere fades away, everything changes. You're weightless, and for the first time in your life, you realize how delicate everything you've known truly is. Earth, seen from above, shrinks into a small, fragile orb, distant but still home. And the weight of being here in space is not physical but existential. The quiet, the vastness, the incomprehensible stretch of stars, they bring a silence so profound it becomes its own language. It's in these first moments that you feel the weight of what you've done, what humanity has done. We've sent a piece of ourselves beyond the bounds of our world. But there's an undeniable truth. Space doesn't care about you. It doesn't care about anything. It is indifferent. In its depths, you are not significant. You are a tiny dot, a fleeting speck in an ocean of infinity. And yet, it is here, amid the vastness, that you come to realize something fundamental. You're connected to something far greater than yourself. Time and space is measured not in hours, but in tasks. Every minute, every moment is mapped out, planned, and accounted for. There's no room for error. The mission depends on it. The daily rhythm is like a dance, precise, purposeful, deliberate. You wake, you work, you sleep. Simple, yet demanding. The lines between night and day blur in the endless cycle of orbits, and yet somehow you find solace in this constant motion. And yet, it's in this mechanical order that you start to realize the true nature of space. It is not just the coldness of the environment or the silence that presses in on you. It's the solitude of it all. You are out here, on the edge of existence, away from everything that defines you. You can't help but ask yourself, who are you when you are stripped of everything familiar? When the noise of Earth, its bustling cities, its crowded streets, its constant movement is gone, what remains? You start to understand that space is not just a physical place. It's a mental and emotional space too. You come face to face with your own mind, your own thoughts. Out here, you have no distractions. The internal landscape becomes as important as the external one. And then comes the spacewalk, the pinnacle of human courage and achievement. For most, the idea of leaving the safety of the spacecraft and venturing into the vast, empty unknown is terrifying. The darkness of space, the isolation, the emptiness. It's hard to imagine a place more inhospitable to life. But for astronauts, stepping into this void is a profound act of trust. Trust in the systems that sustain you, trust in your training, and most importantly, trust in your own resilience. As the door to the airlock opens and the first astronaut floats into the blackness, there is a moment, a breathless, timeless moment, when they are suspended between Earth and the stars. They are neither here nor there, not bound by gravity or time. They are a tiny speck in an infinite expanse. The cold, the silence, the void, they are no longer just concepts. They are real. And yet, in that space, there is a kind of freedom. The weight of Earth's worries, the stress of life back home, the pressure of societal expectations, all of it fades. Out here, there is no distraction. There is only you, the void, and the stars. And in that quiet, that profound isolation, you realize something you may never have understood back on Earth. In the vastness of space, you are both inconsequential and infinitely important. It is in these moments of solitude, out here in the cold expanse, that the enormity of existence hits you with quiet force. Looking down at Earth, you understand its fragility. From here, it looks so small, so vulnerable against the infinite darkness of space. And yet, in that smallness, there is an undeniable beauty. You are alone, surrounded by the emptiness. But it is not loneliness that grips your heart. No, it is something deeper, an awareness that stretches beyond the self. Here, you are reminded of how precious every moment is, how fleeting, how rare this existence we share. The earth, the life it nurtures, the people you love, they are all just moments in the grand sweep of time. And in the vastness of space, you realize we are all connected. Every human, every living creature, every part of this planet, we are all bound together by this single, fragile thread. In space, you learn to appreciate the quiet, the silence that stretches endlessly around you, broken only by the hum of the spacecraft and the soft hiss of your breath inside the suit. But it is not just the absence of sound that strikes you. It's the stillness of your thoughts. It's as though time itself pauses, allowing you a moment of clarity. From here, Earth is both a distant memory and an immediate, visceral connection. The planet you see below is home, the home you've known your entire life. Yet it now feels like something more, something sacred. The Earth you look at, spinning slowly beneath you, is not just a world full of people, places, and experiences. It is a living, breathing entity. It pulses with life, its oceans, its forests, its ecosystems, everything interconnected in a delicate balance. From space, you see this balance in a way that is impossible to see from the surface. And in that moment, you understand, Earth is more than just our home. It is a fragile cradle for all of life, spinning against the infinite darkness. As night falls in orbit, there is a quiet that settles over everything. The stars appear, scattered like diamonds across the velvet sky, and the earth below fades into the blackness. There is no true night or day in space. There is only the endless cycle of orbits. And yet, in this perpetual night, there is a kind of peace. For astronauts, sleep is a strange thing. The absence of gravity, the gentle movement of the spacecraft, the sense that you are weightless. Everything becomes a dreamlike blur. But it is in this blur that something deeper happens. You begin to understand what it means to be part of something much larger than yourself. You are not just a traveler in space. You are a witness to the story of humanity, a story that spans millennia, a story that stretches far beyond the reaches of this tiny spacecraft. As you close your eyes and drift into sleep, you realize that the stars, the earth, the universe, they are all part of you now. They are not distant, unreachable things. They are yours. And you, for a moment, are part of something eternal. Life in orbit is not just about exploring space. It's about exploring ourselves. It's about pushing the boundaries of what we know, not just about the universe, but about what it means to be human. To look down at Earth from space is to see not just a planet, but a living, breathing entity. And in that sight, you understand that we are all connected, not just by the ties of family or country or species, but by the delicate, fragile thread that binds us all to this small, beautiful world. We are all in this together, floating in the vastness of space, sharing this one precious moment. And in that shared existence, we find meaning. We find purpose. We find humanity.